Hello, everybody. This episode of The Horror Show is brought to you by HelloFresh. HelloFresh has some amazing holiday recipes coming up this month, so please make sure to check them out. And you can do that at HelloFresh.com. And if you use the promo code HorrorShow30, you'll get $30 off your first week of deliveries from HelloFresh. And that's at HelloFresh.com. Use the promo code HorrorShow30 and get $30 off your first week of HelloFresh. This episode is also brought to you by our Patreon supporters, Jim Otto and Colt Regier. Thank you guys so much. Man, so this is a super special episode. We were in Chicago. My voice is cracking because I am, and I also have a lozenge in my mouth. I think it's because I was talking all weekend, literally just talking to everyone at the con, and then we did the show. I'm probably a little sick. It's insane. It was an insane weekend. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Lady LeVay. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Mr. Boogedy. Thank you to everyone that came out to the show. DJ Intel, Stephen Bay, the guy that doesn't have social media. I forget your name. Chuck from the con. Chuck and his buddy. They also don't have social media. Mike, our friend Brian, thank you guys for coming. Oh, our friend Alex, thank him for coming out. Thanks to Cassie and Brad for coming out. God, there's so many of you guys. I mean, thank you all so much for coming out, saying hi, giving us stuff. Angie gave us like a box of candy. It was awesome. Man, we had a blast. Thanks to Bloody Disgusting and Days of the Dead Con in Chicago for setting us up, man. Thank you all so much. We had such a blast. It was such a fun time. We had some fights out front of our hotel room. There was a brawl at the con. It was a wild scene, man. It was a really wild scene. So, thank you all so much for the support and everything, and Deadbolt for bringing us out there. Really appreciate it. So, it's a live show, so there's going to be some certain elements. The sound's not probably as good as it should be. It's not terrible, but I noticed some like squeaking and like it's kind of annoying. So I apologize for that. But we are doing Wishmaster. Next week is Idle Hands. And yeah, it was a great show. So thank you all so much. And I think that's it. I don't think I have much more to say because I'm really sick and I have the worst sore throat ever. So thank you all so much for everyone that came out, made the show amazing. And thank you all so much for listening and giving us this platform. We really appreciate it. And we are going to have more live shows in the very near future. So keep your eyes peeled. We're coming. I'm looking at you, Cali. I'm looking at you, Florida. I'm looking at you, Texas. I'm looking at you, Chicago again, man. That was a blast. So, guys, thank you all so much. And enjoy Wishmaster.
Just sitting around watching horror movies all fucking day.
Okay, I stopped paying attention in class. I was thinking about the adventures of Ash, about the misfortune of sitting kids at Crystal Lake. Became addicted straight away with the initial tape. God bless Betamax. VHS, holy like Amanda Kruger. I was introduced to genre flicks by Toby Hooper. I started craving more just like Larry the Looter. I collected VHS without commentary or bloopers. No computers, magazines, a bunch of stores. Spent my money on movies and begged my mom for more. I'd watch the boys kill those astro bastards 5 times a day or even more. I loved the gore. Lionel and Paquita combined their lonely hearts. I was hellbound, Cenobites tore my soul apart.
He's got some
fucking deep
He's got
cuts.
some sick beats. Is that what they call it? Is that what the kids call it? Dope beats?
Yeah, sure.
Is it fire?
It is fire.
Is it lit?
Lit.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. That's all good.
Yeah.
That's all good, DJ. I don't know if you know that, but I've heard people say things are lit in fire. Not our podcast, though. Our podcast is generally meh. I laugh a few times. We're doing Wishmaster.
We are.
It is, oh my God. I just remembered I had something I wanted to put on the projector because I will just show it to you guys and I will have everyone circle around. I have a video to show everyone.
Okay.
It's the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. This movie stars a lot of people.
This movie sucks.
This movie is the perfect horror show movie, in my opinion. Dude, I laughed my ass off from beginning to end. Look at all these, wait a minute. The scene to end all scenes. Scene to end all scenes 3. I have so many scenes that I'm like, are you serious right now? They like blew my hair back. And Reggie Bannister's in this.
That scene is top notch, the best scene.
And I love that he still has a shitty job. Yeah. Like, you're just like, oh, why is that guy doing that? That guy's better than that. Kane Hodder's in it.
He is.
We saw him today.
Yep.
Did he do anything inappropriate today?
Not that I saw.
Don't be afraid of him. Don't be afraid
I'm not afraid of him. I'm afraid of lawyers.
Oh. Yeah, he's already, okay. Tony Todd.
Yep.
Our man Tony Todd's in it. Robert Englund.
Again.
Is in it. And all these people have these smallest roles
Yes.
of all time. And instead we got like Tony Loren or whatever her name is.
Yeah, and I can't think of the guy that plays the Wishmaster's name. Andrew Devoff.
Yeah, who like...
I hate his face
I
so
hate
much.
his face beyond... Okay, so worst face.
It's him.
Andrew Devoff or H.P. Lovecraft.
It's Devoff.
That's wrong.
No, it's
Devoff is a very close second. It's a tight race. Okay, here's what I'm going to say. Devoff
looks better as the Wishmaster.
Devoff wins. He looks better as the demon.
Yeah, he does.
Devoff wins the popular vote,
Okay.
but H.P. Lovecraft won the Electoral College.
Okay.
All right.
That's fine.
That's what we'll say.
Fair.
Because they are both hideous. I'd love to hit both of their faces with a bat. H.P. Lovecraft is disgusting. I'm sorry. He looks...
Either way, our eyes lose.
our eyes lose 100% of the time with those guys. What if Andrew Devoff played H.P. Lovecraft?
That would suck. And I wouldn't watch it because he's a terrible actor.
Also, the H.P. Lovecraft movies, just him sitting around writing racial slurs. Like, I'm going to write a really good story, but I'm going to ruin my legacy right now. Also, I don't like any of his stories. So we're doing Wishmaster.
Yeah.
Executive produced by Wes Craven, which was just a trick to make people watch a bad movie.
And it worked.
It worked.
A lot of people were hyped about this when it came out, myself included. And I liked it when it came out.
Did you?
Because I was a stupid idiot.
Yeah, we were all stupid.
I was 12 when it came out.
Well, was this you were 12? Was this around the same time as Leprechaun? What year? Oh no, this is way
Leprechaun
later.
was 93.
But this seems as dated as like Leprechaun.
This seems like this was filmed like Rumpelstiltskin.
Right. 100%.
Like the puppet looked the same.
Everything.
The acting was the same. Yeah.
It's exactly the same as Rumpelstiltskin. And it's directed by Robert Kurtzman, who's a special effects guy.
Yes. And you know what? Tom Savini worked on this too.
Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense.
And the gore and the special effects aren't terrible.
No, it's just everything
else sucks.
Yeah. Like to the point where the special effects like don't make up for it. You're just like, all right,
No, they definitely don't make up
that
for
was
it.
cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. I still have to sit through this insufferable piece of shit.
Exactly.
But I don't know, man. I had a lot of fun watching it. Like a lot of fun. So let's get into
You had
this
more
one.
fun watching this than you did Idle Hands.
Dude, because this is so insanely bad. I couldn't even get over it.
Okay.
I couldn't even get... Dude, the Wishmaster's just like, would you say you loved it?
Because he's Rumpelstiltskin.
Yes, 100%. Because it made no sense. Like, those aren't wishes. You can't be like, do you say you love it? And the guy's like, well, yeah. Boom.
Yeah.
And like, it's insane. Like, that's not a wish. Like, that is not playing the game fairly. Like, it's like they came up with this idea and they were like, yeah, let's roll with it. And then they started making the movie and they were like, oh, why would anyone wish for that? why would anyone wish that? And it's like, well, just make the Wishmaster be like, So would you say?
And then not only did they think that, they thought that 5 more times because there's 4 sequels to this.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how bad they are.
Much worse.
Have you seen them all?
I've seen.
He owns them all.
I saw the second one, and that's why I never went further.
Oh my god! This is it. This is where it ends.
Yeah.
This is the end of the line. For
I own the second one because I bought it with, I own Wishmaster on DVD. It's 1 and 2, but I never watched the second one.
Oh yeah, it's much faster than outrageous.
Oh my god! So we get this once in a time before time, which a time before time.
You know who's talking, right?
And it was AD, by the way. They show the date.
Yeah, right.
And it's like 1800 AD.
Not even that old.
No, it was 18. Well, I started looking it up, like the date.
Newer than the pyramids.
Because I was thinking it was BC, and I was like, what are they doing? And then I looked. I was like, oh wait, that's AD. Like that's.
Yeah.
There were like empires.
Yeah, it took place in the Persian Empire.
Yeah, it was insane.
But you know who's the
Like a
narrator?
Time before time.
You know who's the narrator, right?
Oh yes, it's our buddy. Boy.
Yeah, Angus Grimm. Yeah.
Yeah. It does not. He's not doing his boy voice though.
No.
Boy. So once in a time before time, God breathed life into the universe. You all right?
Yeah, I was gonna say something, but then I realized you were talking.
And the light gave birth to angels, and the earth gave birth to man, and the fire gave birth to jinn. Creatures condemned to dwell in the void between the worlds. So, I don't understand this at all, but I guess the jinn were created for no other reason than to like destroy the earth.
Yeah.
But God was like, man, we should probably have those guys on earth. Which, by the way, that is not in the Bible, right? There's no jinn. There's no jinn in the Bible. Is there any Bible where there's jinn in it?
There can't be.
Genies?
I don't think so.
And it cuts from this these title cards, and they explain this whole jinn. Well, they don't explain this whole jinn thing. They just talk about jinns for a period, and then we get these shots that are like Evil Dead style, and you're almost excited for the movie because it's just chaos. Like everything is like going wrong. Like people are just dying, people's faces are melting, and it's like this Evil Dead shot, like super zoom ins, but the camera and the person are moving at the same time. So it's an alright scene. Did you like it?
No.
Oh. The intestines that come out and bite people's arms?
That was stupid. And the landscape was like the most poorly constructed model I've ever seen.
It was very bad models. And we're in Persia, 1127 AD.
Yeah.
And people are just bleeding and screaming. And
Guy gets thrown to a wall and stuck like Han Solo in carbonite.
oh yeah, okay, so that was stupid. All right, I get you. And also, all these Persians are milquetoast white. They are the whitest Persians I've ever. They're all just white people running around being like, "We're Persian. Look I have a mustache.
Yeah,
I'm Persian."
Exactly.
It was insane. It was actually insane. Like how could? And they don't even have like roles, so it's like it wasn't like we have to cast
Yeah.
high-end white talent. Like it was just like, nah, no Persians today. One guy's skeleton comes to life inside of his body. Like he is laying there and he's like, oh my God.
And the spooky skeleton just pops
And
out.
his skeleton comes to life and escapes his body. That was insane. And the effects in that are amazing. And then a half snake man comes up to this wizard and is like,
Sean, that's so stupid.
It's like my favorite scene because this wizard's this wizard's frantically walking through all these people just being torn apart.
Being mutilated.
Being
and there's a
mutilated.
fucking half snake man.
And he's about to go into this door and this snake guy crawls up and is like, hey wizard, can you help a man out? And the wizard's like, no, not really. Sorry, bro. I gotta go talk to this guy. And the wizard goes in, and he goes into this room and tells the king, you can't make any more wishes.
Because he's the mangle expert in this one.
Yes.
On jinns.
Yes, he explains jinns to us right now because the jinn's just sitting there being like, shut up.
Jinn is so useless.
Don't tell him what to do.
exactly what he's doing. With his hands like that.
Yeah,
this guy's ear.
Yeah, he's literally just sitting next to the king, and like this guy's like, stop making fucking wishes. Like everyone's turning into snakes out here, and the king's like, oh, I don't know. And
the king knows what's happening.
yeah, and he's like, well, maybe
one more might not be bad.
maybe one more wish will fix everything. Like everything's gone wrong, but yeah, it's amazing, and there's just a bunch of talking like assholes, and then all of a sudden, like the wizard's like, go away, Jinn, and the Jinn's like, no. And then he's like, all right. And then he pulls out a rock and somehow like sucks the Jinn.
Why didn't he just do that when he walked in the room?
Why didn't he do that after the first wish went horribly?
Exactly.
After like the first wish probably like cut out somebody's butthole or something.
What's the name of that rock? An opal?
Dude, they call it like 16 different things. So it's a jewel. Just call it a jewel.
Okay.
Because that's what it is. It's just this giant red rock.
Fair.
But regularly they will change the name. Like this one
That wizard's name was Zoroaster, by the way.
Zoroaster?
Yeah.
A real Zoroaster's coming to hit Chicago this winter. And then the Wishmaster goes away.
Yeah.
That's the end of the Wishmaster.
I wish it was the
Good
end.
night.
I wish it was the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's not. America, present day. Robert Englund is talking like an idiot.
Yeah, yes, he is.
He's just like, oh, my prized statues. I love his characters because he acts so hard.
He does, and there's no need for it.
No need for this. Like all he has to do is be like, yes.
Well, I'm telling you, in Strangeland is probably my favorite performance by him.
Well,
It's just a stupid drunk idiot.
which is what he plays in the Alligator movie too. And that's your favorite role.
Yes, because it's actually like the same character.
Yeah, it's the same character.
Stupid redneck.
No, I didn't watch Strangeland, but like when you said it, I was like, that sounds like the exact same role.
It was,
As
yes.
Eaten Alive, which you were also like, Robert Englund is good at this. And I was like,
He was.
well, I guess. I suppose. And a drunk they're trying to unload this giant box. And this dock worker's sitting there that's like pouring his flask into this cup. And it's just like the most unbelievable version of like a drunk dock worker I've ever seen. Like, it's so ridiculous. And then on top of it, he spills his cup, which why wouldn't he just drink out of the bottle?
Right.
Like, no one's watching you. And this is like the most important scene in the movie, which I had never anticipated.
Because he drops the statue.
So he drops the liquor all over this thing, which causes the crane to just completely
Kill
malfunction.
Sam Raimi's brother.
Yeah, Ted Raimi. Yeah, Ted Raimi's just like standing there, and the box drops on him. The statue crumbles, goes into a million pieces, kills Ted Raimi for no reason, and the construction workers all run over, and one construction worker grabs the jewel that we saw in the original, which was just sitting there.
Yes.
And why would anyone run to that mess?
Like
Ted's dead. Ted's dead, baby. Ted's dead. Right? There's no chance of him surviving. I would have just been like, I'm punching out. Right. Like, if I was nearby, I'd be like, see you guys tomorrow. Like, I'm done. I need to go see a therapist right now. And it cuts to like a pawn owner, cuts to an auctioneer house.
But like, why would Kane Hodder think that that's valuable? Like, why would you take that and think you can get something from it?
That wasn't Kane Hodder.
That took the...
Yeah. Kane Hodder's the security guard later. That's just some oaf.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. How about that?
Well, look at that. So this construction worker, yeah, well, that's the thing. The construction worker goes to a pawn shop and is like, I mean, why wouldn't you think that's valuable? It's a giant jewel.
But like,
although I would just go on eBay and be like, opals, and then see one for like $3 and then throw it in the trash. But he takes it to a pawn shop. The pawn dealer gives him like nothing for it. Pawn dealer goes to this auctioneer building, who's like, holy mackerel. He's like freaking out about it. And then we cut to our hot 90s couple. Yeah. Josh and Alex. Two babes playing tennis. Josh is her best friend and just has to listen to her talk about her deadbeat boyfriend constantly, who she just broke up with. And Josh makes the moves. Josh is like, hey, why don't you date me? She's like, come on, Josh. That's stupid. And he's like, how about dinner and a movie? And she's like, how about hot dogs and a ball game? Which is weird. And then he goes, playing it safe, right? How is that playing it safe? Like what? Like between dinner and a movie and hot dogs and a ball. First of all, hot dogs and a ball game is a sexual innuendo. She wanted to blow him. That's what that means. And he's just like, nah, no thanks.
Is that what that means?
No. But it's as if the movies are so daring. Like he's like, well, playing it safe.
Right.
And we could go to the movies and French kiss in the dark. But Alex, it turns out, is the appraiser for this. Everything's connected in this movie. Like nothing is like left open in this. Like they kind of work. We kind of get a clue that they like kind of work together, but they don't really explain anything. It turns out, Alex works at the auctioneer house, and this guy analyzes like all of her shit for her.
Right.
It's like the most ridiculous connections of all time. So Alex is the appraiser. She's cleaning it and she's like blowing on it. And then somehow we just hear the gym.
She looks so much like Linda Hamilton too.
Yeah, she does. That's who I thought it was at first. And she's just like cleaning it, and then all of a sudden you just hear the gym be like, "You woke me." Like she's doing nothing to this jewel. Like nothing that a guy that found it in dirt wouldn't have done.
Right.
Like that construction worker wasn't just like, ugh. Like he had to have been like, oh my God.
Exactly.
Let me clean this up. I gotta sell this thing.
Yes.
Like, so blowing the gin wakes him up.
You know.
Hot dogs in a ball game. She's taking the gin to hot dogs in a ball game. She then brings in to Josh to double check why the jewel is talking to her. She's like, why is this jewel talking to me? And he's like, well, I don't know. The computer's got it. I don't know. And he's like, I don't know if the computer can even do this. He puts it in the computer later, and literally this computer was only made to like analyze jewels. Like that's all it does. He's like, I don't know what this computer can do anything correctly, but it does. It's insane. The laser scans the jewel, which for some reason makes it explode into like a bazillion pieces. And Josh is dead. Josh is deader than a doornail.
And the entire lab is absolutely destroyed.
Like, it is like the biggest explosion of all time from this. And all we hear is like the djinn just being like, I'm awake. Like just whispering in the background. This was my first scene to end all scenes.
This was?
This was my first.
Him exploding?
No. Alex calls the dying Josh. And Josh is like, because she's like leaving a message. She's like, Josh. And he's like, Alex. Then some monster, there's just a monster laying in the lab now, and it's like, Alex. And the monster, and we see it, and it's like a cross between like that Metaluna mutant from This Island Earth, like the big brain head, and like a Mars Attacks alien.
My note was, looks like a Mars Attacks
Dude, it's 100% a Mars Attacks alien, and it's just crawling around like a baby. Like at Josh, who's like just barely alive, and it was like, Alex, and this little baby monster like crawls up to it, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. This is so insane. And then it turns into the Wishmaster magically. So like, what form is like, the Wishmaster has like 14 forms. It's like this,
I don't know why he's changing forms.
I don't know either.
No need for it at all.
Because none of them are nice looking.
No.
And the worst, and like you said, the most revolting is his human face.
Yeah, when he's Nathaniel.
Which he lives in forever. Like, why did they do that? Anyway, the Wishmaster is like, tell me you want the pain to end. So Josh is obviously like, yeah, sure. And the Wishmaster just kills him. That's it. And it's like, that's not a wish. Being like, tell me to end the pain. Like, that's not a wish. It's insane. And so the Wishmaster grabs those extra pieces of rubies and is on his way. Do those even come into play later? Because he regularly is like, look at these rubies. Another scene to end all scenes is when Alex runs in and the cops are like, she runs in to get Josh because she gets the news that there was an explosion. She runs in and the cops are like, whoa, lady, this is a fucking crime scene. You can't come in here. And she's like, that's my best friend. And the cop is like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Go right ahead. Like, come on. No, I can't believe I said that to you. Like,
that's why this movie doesn't work, because they fuck up everyday today interactions between people.
Dude, the cop looks like she just admitted to being the Zodiac killer. Like his jaw drops when she's like, that's my best friend. Yeah. Like any other cop would be like, I don't give a shit. Yeah. You're an idiot. And this guy's a bigger idiot. This dead guy looks like a moron. Then we get Reggie Bannister, our buddy Reggie Bannister. He's upgraded from ice cream man to pharmacist. Really switching those careers. And he gets into this verbal...
I think I'm like a big fan of Reggie. Like, I just rewatched all 5 Phantasm movies.
Did you really?
Yeah. In
Why
October.
did you do that?
They were awesome.
That's not true. Dude, 5?
Well, 5 sucked.
And what about the one where they just replay all the clips from the previous movie?
Okay. The
Was
first
that
3
3
were
or 4?
awesome.
Okay.
The first 3 were awesome.
Was 4 the one where they just literally replayed 3? They're like, hey, remember what happened in the last movie?
I mean, yeah.
Dude, somebody was like, there was like 2% of actual like footage in it.
Well, they had like unused footage too.
All right. Whatever you say, buddy.
All right, guys, I have to pause the episode just for a second to talk about HelloFresh. HelloFresh is a food delivery service. It lets you choose your delivery day for when it works best for you and your busy schedule. You can pause accounts for weeks at a time when you're out of town, which is a huge positive. All the ingredients are pre-measured. It comes in these like cool little bags. It's made to make your life easier. They offer wide variety of chef-curated recipes that change weekly. And you got plans like classic, veggie, and family. And, you know, you can find the right match for anybody. And they're doing some awesome stuff for the holidays. So, you know, they're doing the shopping, they're planning it, and they're delivering it to you. So all you have to do is hustle and bustle. Hustle, bustle, and enjoy the holidays with your family. You don't have to worry about cooking dinner every night. They're going to do it for you. It includes recipe cards with 6 stinking steps. And I think most of them are like 30 to 45 minutes, which is like, for me, the perfect time for cooking food. I don't want to spend more than that in the goddamn kitchen. Fewer trips to the grocery store and less time in the kitchen means more time for family. And if you don't like your family, then just straight up festivities. Watching those damn Christmas specials takes up a lot of time. So check out HelloFresh if you want to do that. They've got some awesome holiday recipes too that I'm very excited about. Meatloaf a la mom with roasted root vegetables and thyme gravy, pan-seared scallops with heirloom tomatoes, mashed potatoes, and Meyer lemon, figgy pork tenderloin with green beans and rosemary potatoes. Is that like figgy pudding? What is figgy pudding? Butternut squash and sage risotto with parmesan and pepitas, and thyme gravy chicken with roasted carrots and cashew e pepe potatoes. Guys, HelloFresh, first of all, I'm sorry my voice is cracking. I'm sick. But HelloFresh is great. And you know what? Honestly, all I wanted was HelloFresh tonight because I did not want to cook anything because I'm so sick tonight. And I ended up cooking trash and it sucked. I'm so pissed. But you don't have to do that. Get on the HelloFresh train right now. HelloFresh.com. Use the promo code HorrorShow30 to get $30 off your first week of deliveries with HelloFresh. Me and Joe love them. We can't even express it enough. Like, honestly, we used it and it was awesome. It was so good. It was so good. I love it. And I'm super excited about this meatloaf. I'm salivating right now. So check it out. Again, that's HelloFresh.com. Use the promo code HorrorShow30 for $30 off your first order. And thank you so much, HelloFresh, for sponsoring this very special live episode from Chicago. Now, back to the boys.
And Reggie's just arguing with a homeless guy outside. That homeless guy, by the way, has had so many roles in movies. It's insane.
It's George Buckflower.
Yeah, and he just plays drunk guys constantly.
Because he's great at it.
Yeah. John Carpenter, I guess, like puts him in like every single one of his movies because he's just like.
He's the most believable person in this entire movie.
I would agree with that. And he also has some of the most amazing
Lines?
insults that I've ever heard.
He calls him a side effect of an afterbirth.
First of all, I don't think this is a word, but I had to search it, and everyone wrote it as miscomplected. which is, I don't think that, I could not find a word that was even remote, but he calls it a miscomplected afterbirth of a Chinese gangbanger. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then after that, his next insult after that is, you're an educated idiot. Yeah. And you're like, that was really intense to really basic insult. Like if somebody called me an educated idiot, I'd be like, fine, sure.
He goes, I hope you die, you sack of shit.
Yeah. And as he says that, he meets the Wishmaster.
It's very, very hostile for something that's not that big. The guy was just like, I don't want you in my store.
Yeah, it was really, everything, it escalated really quickly. And the whole time Reggie Bannister's like, come on, man. Yeah. Like, not again. You're gonna harass me again? And this guy just beats the shit out of him, like, verbally. And then the homeless guy turns the corner and Wishmaster's there smoking a cigarette.
Why is he smoking a cigarette? Because he's not even in human form. So he's not like disguising himself as like casual.
He's literally like, he like looks at the cigarette because he's never seen one before and he's like, he just lights it up and smokes. He's just like
continues
casually smoking it during the scene, just like, so what's your wish? What? Like, it's so insane. And his wish is that he hopes the pharmacist got cancer and dies. And I was like, are we gonna see like a flash forward to like 50 years when cancer has just slowly broken this man down?
So much funnier. Just him in a hospital bed.
And it would be so much more cruel. Instead, we get the pharmacist in the room being like, whoa, and he just starts bubbling up.
He really hopes he gets eye cancer.
Whoever made this movie does not know what cancer is.
No.
He has no idea what cancer is. He must have just like, I don't even know. Like, did not even look it up. She's like, hey, is cancer that thing when your skin boils? And someone was like, I don't know, maybe. And he was like, all right, that's what we're doing.
Which is even more alarming that somebody would say that.
Or he was like, well, that's the special effect I packed up today. So that's what's happening. And yeah, the pharmacist dies. And the Wishmaster's just sitting there smoking a cigarette. Imagine if like the genie from Aladdin was just always just like...
Yeah, I cannot believe he's smoking it.
Just a fucking not Earth person smoking a cigarette. We also learned some more about Alex. Oh, Alex can also see all this stuff happening somehow.
Oh, Tom Savini was in the...
Pharmacy?
Pharmacy, yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that. But Alex can like feel when these things happen. Like she sees glimpses.
Yes. Like she keeps waking up in cold sweats.
And being like, wow, I had a dream about some homeless guy killing
She
me.
sleeps with candles so close to her bed.
Which is insane.
It's the biggest fire hazard I've ever seen in a movie.
Which, because we find out her family, her entire family was murdered in a fire. And she is real still upset about it. Because she's like, I should have saved them.
She should be traumatized by fire.
Yeah, and her bed's surrounded
with candles.
That was like the 90s though, like the Spice channel. Like all those softcore porns, it was just millions of candles and two people like rolling around, not showing the sex parts, just people like, oh yeah. Candles were big in the 90s.
Sure.
That was their prime. That was the peak candle period. So yeah, we meet Alex's sister, who's sending corpse grinder pictures. We meet Alex's sister, who's like, you have to stop beating yourself up. Which I don't know why she's saying that. It just came out of the blue. She just starts saying that, and Alex is like, yes. But the whole family's dead, and it's all because of me. And it's not. The house just burned down around them. It's not at all because of her. And now Alex is having dreams of dead Josh playing tennis with her.
Yes.
While also hearing the Wishmaster being like, I can smell your fear. Like in her ear while all this is happening. Robert Englund, we learn, has a room full of gods, which literally means nothing. It literally means nothing. It's just to kind of piece together this whole djinn thing. We see kids. Oh, a kid walks in on the Wishmaster. The Wishmaster has found the morgue of Josh and goes in.
But he has no reason to be doing it.
He has absolutely zero reason.
Because Josh he's just a nobody. Right?
Right.
It doesn't tie into the djinn.
Well, so here's mythology. The thing. So he goes in and he cuts Josh's face off with his fingernail.
Yeah.
And he puts it on his face.
Like turkey.
Like turkey from Thanksgiving. It's so ridiculous looking. And so you're thinking he's going to be Josh and like scare the shit out of Alex and be like, look, I'm alive, or, whatever. But instead, he just turns into something else, turns into a completely different man. Turns into another man completely, another way more ugly man. And it was really weird. Like, this concept is even shittier than you can imagine because, like, he runs into this kid and he's like, could you, because the kid's like terrified, like the kid walks in on him cutting this guy's face off with his fingernails. He's like, could you say this is something you wish not to see? And the kid's like, I guess. And sews his eyeballs shut.
Right.
Sews his eyeballs shut. So this concept makes no sense already. Like, we're on Wish 2 and it's just like, could you say you wished this? And, oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. I was honestly like, I want to go over there and get a beer, but I didn't want to get up. I just want to take a sip and be like, this is terrible. What did you get? Your taste in beer is awful. Oh, it's good.
It's good.
It's very good. Yeah. Good thing we don't have to drive. Good thing we're going to the Bean later. How many people here have seen the Bean? Everyone, because they live here. Don't. Wait, were you here when we were discussing that?
No.
Because other locals have told me
I found that out like 3 days ago. And I lived here for 2 years.
that locals will only correct you on Cloudgate if you're from out of town. That's what they do, to make you just seem like a jerk. Because you'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry. But that's all right, because when I got in my Uber, I called the Sears Tower Willis Tower. And the guy was like, all right, I'm going to take you to the Sears Tower. And I was like, well, is that near Willis Tower? And like, I was like honestly concerned. I was like, I really don't want to walk that far. It's really fucking cold out. And I asked you to take me to Willis Tower. And he was just like, yeah. And then I went up and I was in Willis Tower, Sears Tower. And I was like looking out the window. I was like, wow, this building's so tall. Like, if the Sears Tower is the tallest in, is it the tallest in America or Chicago?
America.
It's in America? So I was like, if that's the tallest one in America, like, oh my God, imagine being in that. And then I finally was like, I think this is the Sears Tower, because this is really fucking tall. And they have pictures of Oprah everywhere in there. I don't know, have you gone on it?
Sears
Anyone?
Tower?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fun. I guess it's not. It's just looking out. Oh, okay, cool.
Fun.
Thank you. Thank you for being a defensive Chicago person. So let's get back to Wishmaster, which is, where does Wishmaster take place?
Chicago?
Yeah. I don't know. I was hoping it did, but it doesn't. It's
One of our finest documentary cities.
So he sews his kid's eyeballs up, whatever. Who gives a shit? Now Linda Blair's doppelganger proceeds to just do detective work for the remainder of the movie.
That's why I don't know why you like this movie.
Okay, so this is not
This is
fun.
boring.
Because she literally is like, I'm gonna figure out Josh's murder. When really it would be like that crazy ass jewel exploded and killed him. Like, that's all you'd have to worry about. But instead she's like in full detective mode, just asking people about bullshit, like over and over again. Like, just like, do you know anything about gins? And like, people give her like half-ass answers, and she just, it's constant. How many people does she interview? She interviews Robert Englund, that older woman, and somebody on the dock, or like 2 people on the dock. The dock worker she talks to, and then like some other guy that was there that was like it was like the CEO of the dock company who's like, I don't know anything about this. And she's like, I think you're wrong. So Ginny Baby goes shopping just to like harass people. Yeah. Like he wants to go pick out nice clothes, which I don't know why. Again, like, he's here to like just murder people. I don't even know what his his purpose is to like take over the world.
That is the purpose.
And he's doing a terrible job.
He sucks. They could have done this so much easier.
Starting at the mall and being like, would you say you want to be young forever? And the girl's like, yeah, sure. And then
just go to birthday parties. Every time someone blows out a fucking candle, you...
That's so stupid. Imagine if the tradition of not saying your wish out loud was because people were like, the gin will get you. Don't say that shit out loud. The gin, he'll just put it in your butt. He just takes things and shoves it up your butt, which is what we always said about Wishmaster before watching this. Because that's the only thing I could think of. Like if you were like, I wish I had $1 million. Like, the only worst thing he could do is like, well, I'm just going to shove it up your ass. Like, I can't think of anything bad to do. Maybe drop it on your head in coins.
That would hurt.
That would be bad. Or shove all the coins up your butt. Like that Cartman episode where he eats all the gold.
You haven't seen Wishmaster 2? Because he actually shoves someone's head up their butt.
That's so amazing. So we're doing that next week. That's going to be awesome. So Ginny Baby goes shopping. This woman is like, I want to be young forever. And he turns her into a mannequin. And
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he does.
you're not impressed? We get more history of gins, which is as boring as you can imagine. Just more gin history. The gin goes to Alex's workplace. And this is when we get Kane Hodder, who's a security guard, and very clearly Kane Hodder, by the way. Like, he might as well have been like, hey, I'm Kane Hodder, the security guard.
He's not wearing gloves.
Oh, that's what threw
me off.
Oh, yeah. He literally wears gloves every time. And it honestly pisses me off. Because they're like...
He's wearing them today.
They're like military gloves, the ones that like break glass.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if you saw a guy come into Deadbolt right now wearing his outfit, you'd be like, tool. 100%. Although if you were as big as Kane Hodder, you'd probably also just not say
He's not
anything.
looking that big these days.
He's looking like an old ass man.
I wouldn't be too scared to fight him.
Well, you would be when I was in a room with him today and we were recording something for Bloody Disgusting. And I was just sitting there and he's about to record and Joe sends me a picture of a guy in Barf cosplay from Spaceballs.
He looked just like Barf.
Not only is it Barf, but it's Barf pointing at Joe, like acknowledging some guy's taking a picture and is like,
I didn't even ask him to take the picture. I just snapped it, and like right as I was snapping it, he just went like that.
He like gives him the guns, and like Joe sends this to me, and I'm like sitting there, and like Kane's about to record, and it's like all silent and stuff. And I pull out my phone, and I just burst out laughing, and Kane Hodder just turned and stared at me for like a minute, and I was like, sorry, man. Like, I didn't even, like, if I explained it, would have even been better, because he probably would have been so much more angry. I'd be like, hey, look at this picture of a guy in a Barf costume. He'd be like, that's not me. I don't give a shit. I wasn't in Spaceballs. I won't sign it. So Jin goes to Alex's workplace, and the Jin, for a guy that knows like everything, cannot find Alex worth a shit. He's like the leprechaun.
Yes.
Remember, like the leprechaun could never find the one person he was looking for, and just like wandered around town for hours, just causing mischief. That's what the Jin does.
Yes.
And so the Jin shows up to her workplace after hours. And Kane Hodder's like, hey, brother, you got to get out of here. And the Jin's like, no, I must get inside. But then he says, you'd have to go through me. And that's something I'd love. Well, first of all, yeah, the guy's like, I wish you would get the fuck out of here. And the Jin's like, no. And his body's like forcing him out like a vampire. And he's like, stop it, I need to get in. And then Kane Hodder's like, you'd have to go through me, and that's something I'd love to see. Saying I'd love to see is not a fucking wish. He's like, I'd love to see. And then the Jin just stops and has the most disgusting smile on his stupid face and is like, oh, really? And then turns Kane into a glass door, but then doesn't open the door, walks through the door. It makes no sense.
And the CGI is the shittiest CGI I've ever seen in my entire fucking life.
It's so bad. And then does Kane Hodder explode? Or
Yeah.
which also makes no
1,000
sense.
shards.
Into like a million
Why
shards.
does he just blow up?
It doesn't make any sense. They were like, we have to do something, or else he's just going to be in this glass door, which still would have been cool.
There's nothing about this is cool.
Mac paint, let's use it.
He walks into the office and the auctioneer's there, and like the auctioneer's like not really that alarmed at all. He's just kind of like, hey man, I would love $1 million. And the Wishmaster kind of like leads him on though by being like, what would make you comfortable? And he says $1 million, and the Wishmaster's like, done. And this is the most amazing wish granted ever in this whole movie. This made me laugh. There's no table here, by the way. And I was about to place my beer there.
Wondering why you were doing that. What was he doing?
That was really bad. That would have been really embarrassing. Talking about the movie while scrubbing the floor and apologizing profusely. So the auctioneer asks for $1 million. That's his wish. Kind of. Not really. Because the guy's like, what would make you comfortable? And he's like, $1 million. So I guess that's a wish now. And we cut to his mom at an airport. And she's like signing up for $1 million in a flight insurance policy, which I don't think is a thing. Like she's in the airport and they're like upselling her, like, buy this $1 million policy on your flight. And she's like, okay. And she's like, my son's an auctioneer. Like she's explaining the situation. We all know what's happening. And she's like, my son is a fancy auctioneer in wherever they're from. And she's like, he'll be my benefactor. I promise. And then we see the plane take off and it just explodes. And that's how he gets his millions of dollars. And now the harder question.
That actually is a good scene.
It's funny.
Yes.
Well, see, now I wrote this before our grandparents died.
Okay.
But here's my question. Would you let one of your parents die for $1 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Totally. Absolutely. And my dad listens to this podcast.
Which one?
You can't say that.
You can't
say
Dad.
I mean, every guy's gonna pick their dad, right? Let's just preface that before I say it so my dad doesn't hate me.
Oh, yeah, your dad listens.
Yeah.
My dad
And his dad just died.
beat the show.
You guys can laugh at this. It's funny. I don't care. Don't be morbid about it. Y'all take death way too seriously. Although I think I am numb to it from all these movies at this point. Now I'm just like, we all turn into glass doors and explode eventually. Eventually in our life, we'll all turn into glass doors and burst from a guy walking through us. So the next 20 minutes is just weird shit happening to Alex.
Yes.
Alex just like walking around and hearing boogie, 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 boo. But the Wishmaster's still not being able to find her, which is also weird. It's so weird. Alex meets this old lady who she had talked to earlier. And she's talking like a crazy person now. And it's most obviously the djinn. Because she's like, oh, I don't know, djinns don't seem like bad guys. like Alex goes to her to be like, I think this djinn is like gonna kill us all. And she's like, would that be such a bad thing? And like Linda Hamilton's twin is like, yeah, it would be really bad. And she's like, if you say so, I don't know. No, I really don't see I don't see the harm in it. And she's like, well, this lady's kind of acting a little funny. Which I guess you wouldn't expect a djinn to turn into a woman.
Sure. Because they're not real.
Or that. And it turns out it's the djinn who can now shapeshift whenever he pleases.
Why wasn't he just doing that?
I don't know. Well, he did cut off that old lady's face, so I guess he has to cut off somebody's face to kind of look like them. Because he didn't turn into Josh.
No.
Whatever. I hate this. And then he pulls an Uncle Rumple, and because Linda Hamilton's like, I'm out of here. And he's like, ugh. And he like turns into the djinn. He's like just so frustrated. And then he goes, the shit just hit thy fan. And you're like, come on. You've been speaking perfect English this entire time. And all of a sudden you're like, thy. You're speaking old English. So he has Alex dead to rights, basically. And he's like, listen, I usually give 3 wishes, but I'm going to give you a free one to test it out.
Which is exactly what he says.
Yes, so stupid. Which is insane. He's like, I'm going to give, like a drug dealer. You want a little taste? You want a little taste of wishes? Like, as if you don't know what a wish is? Like, well, what happens when I wish? Like, you know damn well. So she wishes for him to blow his brains out, which is the dumbest wish. Because first she's like, I want you to die. I was like, solid wish. And she's like, and blow your brains out. I was like, well, you know he's not human. Like, so he shoots himself, and of course nothing happens.
Why does he have a gun?
Because if it's a wish, I think he can make anything appear.
Okay.
And then he's like, that didn't work, but it hurt like hell. She's like, oh, cool. So then she wishes to know what he put. Wait, what does he wish? She wishes to know what he puts her. This is not written in English. My note here. She wishes for something. She wants to know like what he's been up to, or where he came from.
Yes.
She's like, where did you come? Oh, that's what it is.
She goes to like Jinland.
So he puts her in the Ruby.
Yeah.
And she's attacked by demon dogs, but they don't actually attack her. They just like kind of run up to her. And he's like, so how do you like me so far? And she's like, I don't know. So then she wishes herself out of the gem to go try to save her sister, because the Jinn's like, I got your sister. This Jinn is so bad. He's such an idiot. He just tells her everything. So she wishes herself out, and she's very clear. She's like, I want to be out of this in my apartment, and you're not around. Which you think he could still fuck her up. Like, he's taking the most out of control things and like changing them, but he doesn't. She's fine. He kills Tony. Meanwhile, the Jinn is still walking around. Like, he's going to go pick up the sister at like this ball, and Tony Todd's like the security guy.
Yeah.
And he belittles Tony Todd. He is so mean to Tony Todd. Tony Todd's like this bouncer, and he's like, man, your job is worthless. And Tony Todd's like, oh, you might be right. And he's like, no, like, it's bad. Like, you don't do anything. Like, no one likes you. And no one you're gonna do this forever, you loser? And he's like, oh my God. And he's like, wouldn't you like an escape? And Tony Todd's like, yeah. How does he kill Tony Todd? Do you remember?
No.
It's amazing. Because he said escape. So he puts him in a giant tub of water in a straitjacket like Houdini. And he's like, Houdini did it in 2 minutes.
I literally don't remember this part.
Dude, it's insane. He's like, well, and like the guy's drowning in the thing, and he's like, that's his escape. He has to escape. But it's not actually, that is the most illogical thing I've ever heard. And he walks away smiling and is like, Houdini did it in 2 minutes. It literally makes no sense. That is not an escape. Because it's a magic trick, right?
How would he know
Correct.
who Houdini is?
How would he know who Houdini is?
There's a lot of those steps that get skipped.
It's insane. And I literally have no idea what happens, because they're at this party for Robert Englund. And I don't know what somebody wished for like a good party. And then he was like, okay. And then everyone starts dying. Like, somebody's like, I would love to have a great party. And he's like, okay. And then everything starts coming to life and everyone's being murdered and melted. It makes no sense. That is not a good party. Like, no definition. And Robert Englund kind of had like nothing to do with it. It's so weird. And everyone starts dying. And there's some decent kills there too. But like one girl randomly is like, not a wish. She just goes to a guy while all this murdering's happening. She's like still flirting, and she's like,
She wishes that it would be unforgettable. That's what it was.
yeah, but that's insane.
Well, they're not going to forget that.
They will, because they're dead. And your memories go away. And you turn into nothing. But this one girl's like, you can see right through me, to some guy. And he's like, done. And she turns into glass and shatters again, killing people with her glass shatter. That is not a wish. He was just like, all right, like, I can do whatever I want now. And the glass shattering kills like dozens of people. And at this point, it's just chaos. And the Wishmaster is just granting anything. Like, nothing is no one's wishing anything. No. And he's just like, snap, and then like statues come to life and are like, it's insane. And he makes the statues come to life. They start killing everyone, and then somehow Jack the Ripper shows up. Jack the Ripper like walks out of a painting and is like, just like trying to stab everyone. It's insane. Alex shows up. Alex and somebody else. Oh, Robert Englund's her partner in crime. That's who it is. Alex and Robert in England show up, and they're just like, they're trying to put things, like they're stopping people. Security guards are coming out. They're kind of killing some of the, magical people. And then Alex sees a painting Alex sees a painting with her sister stuck in it, which was not a wish. Nobody wished that. That is not part of the party to forget or whatever it was. But she's trapped in this fucking painting. It's not a wish. And then the Jinn just goes, all right, fuck it. And like snaps his finger and the painting like catches on fire. And like the girls inside of it like, no! Just really cruel. Just really cruel.
Especially since they died in the fire before.
Yeah, Alex is freaking out. That's cold. The Wishmaster's cold here. This is like but no one wished it, so it doesn't matter. And then Wishmaster's like, make your fucking wish. Ultimate swerve.
Yes.
The ultimate swerve, the ultimate turnaround. She wishes Mickey Torelli hadn't been drinking on the job 2 days ago. And the Wishmaster's like, okay, and does it, and that's the end of the movie. Because he's like, huh? And we like kind of see like rewind, and Mickey Torelli's like, boom, 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 and like, I love being sober on the job. Like, it's so weird, like it's so overacted, like, whew, being sober is great. I can use this crane. I can ride a bike again.
But he doesn't drop the statue.
He doesn't drop the statue.
You notice who the actor was?
No.
Joe Pilato from Day of the Dead.
Oh, wow.
Who's Joe
Yeah,
Pilato?
the guy who overacts the entire movie, where he's just like, "You fucking monkey!"
I don't think I remember that. Wait, which one's Days of the Dead?
That's the one where they're underground facility.
Day of the Dead?
Oh,
It's the third one.
Yeah. I get them all mixed up.
Bub?
I get them all mixed up, especially Land of the Dead,
You what?
City of the Living Dead.
I mean,
Those are classics.
by
the way,
nobody mixes Land of the Dead.
At this con, Big Daddy was there. Which one? He's from Land of the Dead, right? Yeah, I think he's from Land of the Dead. Big Daddy.
Learns to shoot guns.
I don't know. He's just. So I saw this guy walking around dressed as Big Daddy in like full makeup, and I was like, oh my god, that's the greatest cosplay I've ever seen. And they're like, no, that's the actor. And I was like, are you fucking serious? Yeah. He's like, yeah, he's just walking around. I was like, get the fuck out of here. And it was him. So.
It's like Romero had a smart zombie in like back-to-back movies.
I hated the smart zombie angle.
Stop. Bubs? Stop.
Honestly, I'm not a Bubs fan.
Oh no!
I'm not a Bubs fan. I mean, he's just like loves Joy Division and stuff. Like it's weird. I don't know. I don't like it. But that's the end of the movie. Everything goes back to
What's your
normal.
problem with Joy Division?
I like Joy Division. I'm more concerned that a zombie's like,
I mean,
I like my tunes. My tunes. What was that from?
what
Ghoulies
was
2?
that from?
Ghoulies 2.
Yes.
My tunes. It was in stereo. So everything goes back to normal. Alex and Josh hook up at the end.
Wait, what was Captain Billy from? Night of the Leaping
Fist.
Fish. That's what that drunk reminded me of.
Yeah, it was good. Captain Billy.
Was it played by the same guy?
Child molester? Probably. And then Motorhead kicks in with like the worst Motorhead song.
I didn't make it that far.
Oh, it's terrible. It was like Lemmy, like it was like crooner Lemmy.
No.
You know when he does that?
Yeah.
Yeah. No one likes it.
Rest in peace, Lemmy.
Rest in peace, Lemmy. You sounded terrible. His crooning was so bad. And did you ever listen to his like 50s?
Hawkwind.
What are they called?
Hawkwind?
No, it's a different one. They sang like rockabilly.
Yeah, I can't think of
Something like Cats. And he's like trying to sing like those guys were all really good singers, like in the 50s. And then it's like Lemmy being like, I'm gonna rock it inside out. And you're like, that's cool. I know you love that music, but why don't you leave it? Lemmy presents the box set of 50s music. So, what'd you think of Wishmaster?
Terrible.
I didn't,
Huge piece of shit.
I didn't see that coming.
That's it's worse than the Wishmaster.
Would you wish for me to stop?
Yes.
No. All right, guys. So that's the end of this episode.
Yeah. Adios.
That's not better than Wishmaster. It's not better than Wishmaster.
It might be.
Dude, Wishmaster is fun to watch.
That was way more fun.
It's not a good movie.
I would. Well, I mean, listen. I love Rumpelstiltskin. Like,
Who doesn't? That movie's fucking amazing.
if you love Rumpelstiltskin, what's wrong with Jin? Ginny baby.
Rumpelstiltskin rides a motorcycle. Ginny Baby does not.
Rideth my hug.
Yeah, my seed.
My deed.
Last line. It's fucking funny.
All right, guys. So let's wrap up this episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you guys all so much for coming out. We really appreciate it. Like, seriously appreciate it. We were just, and thanks Deadbolt for having us out and allowing us to have a space for this, because we just wanted to have a cool event, and Intel for setting it up for us.
For sure.
Came out of the blue for it. First he was like, I can't do that for you. And I was like, that's all right, man. You tried. And then all of a sudden he was like, I have something. I was like, do it. So thank you so much. And thanks everyone for coming out. We really appreciate it. And let's drink.
Okay.
First drinks in 2 years for me.
Nice.
So I'm gonna get drunk. All right, guys, thank you so much. And for Joe, this is Sean. Stay weird.
Thank you.
Adios. Thank you. Thank you.
A haunted house or a creature from outer space. Nobody's safe since mommy's little boy drowned in the lake. It's been a crazy ride. I'm obsessive compulsive. I have to make her mine. Create a shrine. Life is short and then you die. I'm gonna watch those tapes again, even though I've seen them like a million times. THS.